Man, Eagles training camp day 3 was pretty interesting in a lot of aspects. We talk about Kell Moore's press conference, which I thought was really good. We're going to be talking about wide receiver 3. Is it solidified? Is the job already taken at this point? Some of the matchups we saw today, where players were lined up. We're going to be talking about James Bradberry and his comments from his post-practice presser, which really made to believe that he's going to be gone sooner than expected. And I think it's going to happen. So let's get straight into all the news.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Before I start this video, this is a late video. This weekend's been crazy. The basement insulation had to be replaced through the whole basement, so I couldn't even touch my computer, but I was writing some notes, going through all of the press conferences and all that stuff, so I was following everything. So this weekend, the videos are going to be a little bit late, so just want to let you guys know on that front, just some house projects that had to get done. Unfortunately, they had to get done at the wrong time. Now, we had a press conference from Kell Moore, finally hear from Kell Moore after, these months of just kind of knowing, like, what's his plan with this offense? How much involvement does Jalen Hurts have? And where is he going to put players? And how does he see this offense kind of going forward? Now, the one thing he did talk about with Jalen Hurts being in control, he talked about how good and how smooth he has been the last few days. The accuracy has been good. And from my understanding, from my point of view, from what I've been hearing, he's been doing really well. Commanding the offense, giving the QB a wider lens, making adjustments at the line. He even said calling a hot, which is a hot route. We're talking crossers. We're talking vocabulary with an offense that makes me want to cry. That's how impressive. Kell Moore made me believe that he knows what he's doing. That's until we see it on the field is what we see on the field, but making me believe is a whole nother story. Okay, he does not waste a strand of talent within this offense. Okay, he talked about the opportunity at wide receiver 3. Everyone has an opportunity. He knows that Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown are the starters. Okay, but they're putting in a lot of guys with the first team right now. And, he likes the competition there. He even talked about different blocking protections for the offensive line. Not looking predictable is going to be the number one thing that, hopefully we stray away from. You're going to be building off of every player's toolbox. And that's what Kell Moore did say, which I actually really like that saying. Off of the talent that you already have in this offense, he's going to build on that, which is great. He's going to adjust of how the defense presents to the offense. He's not just going to call a play just to call it, not caring what the defense is showing you. Where cover zero blitz killed us all year last year, made no adjustments to any of the defenses last year. And the talent can only take you so far. He thinks the tight end group is good, great depth. I don't really agree with him on that too much. He talked about pre-snap motion and how Hurts is kind of getting used to it because we don't really run too much pre-snap motion with Nick Sirianni game planning. So a lot of pre-snap motion. They've shown almost every play in training camp has been pre-snap motion. Hurts just needs to get reps and get used to it. And that's what Kell Moore really had to say about it. He talked about the running backs, Saquon Barkley, what he brings to the team, running backs playing in multiple spots, obviously in the receiving game. That's just another piece to the offense that, you could check down to a running back, in a one-on-one situation. So much attention around this offense with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts and his legs and extending plays. There's just so much that goes into this offense. So that was the press conference for Kell Moore. Like what he had to say, maybe believe that he's really not just calling plays and just letting these guys play. I mean, there's just a lot of micromanaging, and I absolutely love that so much. I think Kell Moore's going to do a good job. I feel really, really good going into this season. We still have a lot of days left, so we'll see, once we get to joint practices, live obviously preseason games, all that stuff to see, what's on the table right now. And Kell Moore really excited me. today, so I'm pretty pumped. Now, talking about the injuries to the Eagles, obviously, other than Sidney Brown and Cooper DeJean, that's still out right now. Wide receiver Shaq Davis passed his physical, so he was back. Trotter Jr. was back. He had the cramps, so everyone thought it was a big injury scare that, something really bad happened to him, but he is okay. Linebacker Oren Burks still dealing with the knee injury right now. Brett Toth is still out with the hamstring as of right now. So the first thing I want to talk about, okay, is James Bradberry. Okay, so he had a press conference. So James Bradberry is playing second-team safety. Okay, I'm only talking about this because I still feel like they are trading him, and we're just waiting for the opportunity for that window to open up because injuries are happening around the league, which we made in the video the other day. All he kept saying in this press conference was, if I'm still here, if I'm still on the team. Now, he knows he played bad last year. I have to respect Bradberry for this because he knows he played bad that last year. Everybody played bad last year. I don't want to put all the fingers on James Bradberry. There's a lot more that goes into it than just James Bradberry. So he knew that he played bad last year. He knows that it's a business to where they're going to draft corners. They drafted 2 guys in the secondary with your first and second round picks. So he kind of knew after he was getting talked of changing positions that, he's trying to find his fit right now, whether it's inside or whether it's on the back end at safety. He's going to do whatever he possibly can. I don't think he's bitter at all, and I have to respect that of James Bradberry because he could just be some bitter player right now. But, I'm not – and look, at the end of the day, guys, I don't think James Bradberry is a bad player. I don't think he's a long-term player with the Eagles. That's all I'm really saying, because if Bradberry is going to start outside corner, you're going to cut one of these other young corners that you have and kind of mess up this youth movement. I think it's a waste of time. I think you're going to be wasting a move like that. But with his salary right now, he's playing with the second-team safeties. He's not even starting at safety. So what he's getting paid right now, there's got to be a team out there to trade with that's going to take on a bulk of his money so it doesn't affect the Eagles too much the next couple of years, whatever, because Bradberry technically is still on contract throughout 24 and throughout 25, and then he's a free agent after the 25 season. But Bradberry nonstop kept saying, if I'm still on this team, if I'm still on this team. He said that over and over again throughout this post-game practice press conference that he had. So if he's saying if he's still on the team, because realistically, he knows he's not starting at safety, and he's starting a new position right now. There's not a lot of corners out there. That Vic Fangio did say this the other day. There's not a lot of corners that could transition to safety. It's a very small list of players that could do that. So that is the news on James Bradberry. He kept saying, if I'm still on the team, I'll do this. If I'm still on the team, he kept saying it over and over. It was just kind of weird going through the motion of that, which is kind of nuts. All right, now we'll talk about the position groups. A lot of moving pieces around, and these are the early days of practice because Fangio and Kell Moore are just switching guys that are on the second team playing with the first team, third team, second team. They're moving guys all over the place, so I don't think there's anything set in stone with specific players, but they're moving guys to the first team on both sides to give everybody an opportunity to play against the best talent defensively or offensively, so this won't be really a shock to you. Now, at linebacker, you had Devin White and Zach Bond. That's been pretty much the same thing. And then you had Dean and Zach Bond with the second team. Outside cornerbacks, you had Slay and Keely Ringo. And then you had Rogers and Slay. Later, you had Quinyon Mitchell at the nickel, which is interesting. So apparently, from what I heard the last couple days, Quinyon Mitchell has been playing on the inside. Second straight time. There was a few reports saying this was the first time, and then there was another report saying he's done it the past couple of days, playing on the inside a little bit. So I thought that was really interesting. With Cooper DeJean being out, Sidney Brown being out, a lot of other guys are getting opportunities. Quinyon Mitchell's your first-round pick. You got to try to do something with him than just throw him on the outside. So inside, can he hold up? I guess we'll find out when the time comes. Now, Landon Dickerson was back from his little lacerated toe, so he played left guard. So Tyler Steen actually started at right guard, surprisingly. Becton actually played with the second-team right tackle. I think they're still experimenting. I know Trevor Keegan played left guard, so there was a few offensive linemen. They got some shots with the higher teams today, so was really happy about that. Then we get into the one-on-ones, 11-on-11s. What's going on? This is where things get really exciting when it comes to practice. Now, it looks like Jalen Hurts was just slinging the ball like crazy today, having a fantastic day. Paris Campbell has been an absolute monster in Eagles camp. He's been fantastic. Jalen Hurts throws a ball to Paris Campbell for front of the end zone for a touchdown, burning Slay on the sideline for a touchdown. So Paris Campbell has probably solidified himself as the wide receiver 3 right now. Anaya Smith had a couple drops. His camp has not been good so far, and if he keeps doing this, he's not going, and that's a little surprising to me. I know he was hurt most of OTAs and minicamp, and he didn't really practice all those times. He was out for a while with a past injury, but Paris Campbell has really been taking it home at wide receiver 3. Then Jalen Hurts to Devonta Smith beats Isaiah Rodgers the left sideline for a touchdown, and then the play of the day was Devonta Smith with a leaping catch over Keely Ringo, climbed right over him to catch it. And there's actually video on it too, from the official site, and it looked absolutely amazing. Devonta Smith, this is what you're getting out of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith throughout these practices. Is absolutely amazing. Then you have Quinyon Mitchell actually covering A.J. Brown on 2 reps. Now, A.J. kind of fell down on the first rep. He got beat a little bit. Quinyon Mitchell got in front of him, and then on the second rep between A.J. Brown and Quinyon Mitchell on a slant pass, A.J. did catch it. But Quinyon Mitchell actually had a couple really good but Quinyon Mitchell has had some good coverage. He's lost by like a millisecond. So he hasn't been beaten by 10 yards or anything like that. Like Quinyon Mitchell is keeping up with these guys. Good coverage, just, the end result is the catch to where you're deflecting it and not happening. So I thought he was doing a really good job. Hurts threw to John Ross along the sideline, both feet in bounds, with the concentration right there. So hearing John Ross has had a really solid training camp so far for the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, John Ross, Paris Campbell. We need to find that third weapon right now. We need to find that wide receiver 3, make sure that's solidified. And hearing Kell Moore and how he's really, he's not going to give us all the ins and outs of what he's doing because, he has to keep things a secret and hide his cards a little bit. But at least knowing what direction we're going in with this offense and explaining to us, like, how is he using the receivers, can Jalen audible? Can he have control of this offense? I think it all sounds good and dandy. It's fantastic. It's awesome. And lastly, James Bradberry and where that whole situation is going. It sounds like Bradberry is running out of time right now because there could be a moment where Bradberry is going to say, I think the Eagles are still trading him, but Bradberry could be like, look, am I getting traded? Can we find somewhere I can go? Thanks for the opportunity. I have nothing against Bradberry. He's just, from what he's making salary-wise to now, like, legitly, he is questioning himself if he's still going to be on the team or not. You know what I mean? So that's what makes it kind of nuts, kind of crazy. And that's where we're at. So let me know what you guys think about the third day of training camp for the Philadelphia Eagles. Appreciate everybody's patience with all the work that's been going on in the basement with the roofing and all that. So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, like the video if you guys haven't either. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, follow us on. Peace out, guys. Base.